missing link in applied intelligence.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I've been speaking at the Sigma conferences, all of them, from the very first edition till now the 10th anniversary one. So it's a pleasure to be here. What is the missing link in how AI is being applied in the current present situation? We are seeing AI being applied increasingly in different applications, yet there are things that are holding back from AI and being applied more and more into practical applications. And where do current AI tools fall short? Basically, there are a few problems that are holding back AI from being used even more in both online gaming and other industries. One of them is that AI is a black box. Once you throw in a lot of data and this machine is learning all these rules and learning different things, you can't understand how it is working. For example, if you use ChatGPT, the makers of ChatGPT don't actually know how it is really working at a detailed level. And this is a problem. Also, it is inefficient. If you need to use millions and spend millions to train an AI model, it is not efficient. Recently, we saw that Google, for example, literally took over a nuclear power station so that they can train their AI models. This is a little bit exaggerated, in my opinion. Also, it is uncontrollable. If you can't understand something, how it works, you can't control it, and if you can't control it, you can't trust it. So there are a lot of different things that obviously impact the use of AI. Another thing is that you need to understand the decision-making process. How is this thing working? How is it explaining its decision-making process? And this affects the impact of AI. So you've been using a lot of generative AI, and there are also current limitations in generative AI. One of them is the lack of planning. You cannot give it an objective and say, this is my goal. How do I get to this goal? What actions do I need to make? And this is very important for us to be able to overcome this limit in order to be able to say generative AI can give you a plan, can give you a sequence, a Gantt chart. This is your project. Do this, next follow this, and do this. Also, the costly updates. If you have a lot of different data that you need to train, and this is costing you a lot, it's not easy to be able to retrain your generative AI model so that you get exactly what you want. You may have played around a lot with prompts to try to get it to do exactly what you want, but it's still not there yet. Also, the decision-making process. So with generative AI, if I want to optimize my decision-making process, I want to maybe take the best campaign, for example, that makes the best revenue in a particular amount of time. But maybe I want to also have a dynamic budget. I maybe want to have, for example, after 7 days, maybe increase the budget or decrease the budget. How do I do that dynamically? How does the AI model predict the simulated future, sort of how this is going to work and how the decision needs to be made? And also understanding the world, that the AI actually does understand, for example, the concept of a player, the concept of a game, the concept of a tournament. Because right now, the way that generative AI models work, they are like literally learning the word game or the word player, but they don't actually know what that means, that it is like an object that can play, something where people can play against each other or against the house or different kind of things like that. So this is also another limitation. If maybe you've seen the stuff about System 1, System 2 thinking in psychology, where System 1 is like you're fast-acting things, like when you're walking or you're like playing football and you need to react very quickly. That is the System 1 thinking. And then there's the System 2 thinking, in which you need to think, to use logic. These are kind of the two things that current AI is very much System 1. It sees something and reacts. With system 2, it needs to ponder, you need to think, you need to say, okay, this is how I come to a conclusion. This is how maybe, or the other way around, like doctors do, these are the symptoms and this is my diagnosis, for example. And this is what we need to give AI the ability, the system 2 abilities to perform logic and understand the world. And one of the things that I've been working on is the missing link. How do you give this capability to AI? So there have been many approaches to this in the past. One of them has been to write a lot of rules, which basically is what programmers do when they write a piece of code. They're writing a lot of rules, and you're getting something that says, if there is this condition, do this. However, this is very costly. To do this, you cannot scale it. You need a lot of experts. You need to pay them a lot. You need to constantly update what is happening. A lot of anti-fraud systems work in this way, and they are not scalable. With deep learning, you get just a lot of data, a lot of examples, and the machine learns these patterns, but it doesn't tell you exactly what it has learned. So we need something that combines both together, and this is what we're calling this hybrid intelligence, which is the combination of both. So what is the future of AI going to look like? There is this new type of AI called neuro-symbolic AI. This is something that I personally have been working on for the last 5 years, and it's something that is going to be replacing and adding to the current tools that we have in AI. So you're going to be hearing more and more about neuro-symbolic AI as time goes by, which is basically combining the best of both worlds. On one side, you have neural networks, which is give it a lot of data, find the patterns, and done automatically. And the power of logic. How does the AI reason? How does the AI behave like a human being? With cause and effect. Because of A, you get B. Because of B, you get C. This is how we actually explain things to each other. So when we have the best of both worlds, you get decisions that are transparent and in a more human-like way. This is a little bit of a roadmap of what you're going to see in AI in the future. Basically, these little bits, which are the understanding of cause and effect. Something happens, I drop a glass, it breaks. You're not going to expect the little pieces of glass to, reform back into a glass automatically. To be interpretable, to be explainable, so that you can actually understand what AI is doing. Also to understand, to put the humans in the loop, because we still need to be in control. We can't have this mysterious black box just telling us what to do. We need to understand, acknowledge, and make sure that it's aligned with what we want to achieve rather than what some mysterious box is actually telling you to do. And also to be able to have direct instruction to the AI. Before there was a panel on AI in education, but how do you educate the AI? How do you make it learn what you want it to learn? And this is a very important topic. And also, how do you get the best of both worlds? How do you get the transparency from the very start to the very end without losing something in translation? And you will get things like this, in which you get, for example, if you're making a decision, you will get an actual diagram, like a root cause analysis, telling you, okay, I made the decision because of this, this, and that. And you get a clean diagram which you can use, for example, customer support. If you're doing anti-fraud, you can do this. If you're doing campaign management optimization, you can look at this and understand exactly the underlying process of how the AI is actually working. So what are the focus areas in the application of AI? To advance beyond data, basically, and to focus on what we need. So the core benefits are alignment with what we need, the vision of what people actually want. You don't know what AI is actually doing behind the scenes, so you don't understand what is happening. One of the core simple examples, for example, was when AI was detecting the difference between a dog and a husky. And it was doing it very, very well. And people realized, it is just picking up on the snow behind it wasn't caring about whether it was a dog or a husky. It was just looking at the background. If there is snow, it's saying, okay, it's a husky. This kind of things, if you don't know what the AI is doing, you will never realize. So maybe it is giving you the right answer, but for the wrong reasons. And we wanted to give the right answer for the right reasons. And also the high impact. If you're making a decision and which impacts human lives, you want to make sure that you understand why the AI is making that decision. And this is very important. For example, in the EU AI Act, you cannot use systems that make a decision that impact human lives without being explainable. So this is a problem actually because it is now going to be law, and there are no current systems that can actually do this. And this is something that operators also will be impacted directly by it, because you will not literally be able to use this kind of systems, the black box systems, anymore. And this is going to impact the way the industry actually operates. Obviously, regulations are key drivers, and the transparency. How do you make AI, the decision-making process of AI, easy to follow, easy to understand? And obviously, on this, there are lots of things that stem off. For example, the integrity. How do you check the integrity of an AI system? How do you check that it is trustworthy? How do you rely on such a system? If I'm using an AI system to make a decision that costs a lot, you need to understand how it's working. How do you achieve accountability in an AI system? If there's an accident or if there's something that goes wrong, who is responsible? Is it the manufacturer? Is it the operator? Is it the underlying cause of the data? And there are all these issues which will play out. Some of them will play out in courts, some of them will play out in industry standards, and over time we will know also who is liable for what. And obviously the cost, because cost is an issue, and it's not just cost in terms of money, but also because of energy. I refer to the nuclear power station of Google recently. I mean, we do live in a world in which, all the problems that we have in sustainability are apparent, and we need to make our part that we reduce the carbon footprint, we reduce the energy usage of AI. Remember, we have a very good brain in our heads. It doesn't use much more energy than a light bulb. So we know that you can get an AI system, can get a natural intelligence system that is very good and that runs using the same power as a light bulb. So using a nuclear power station, for me, is a bit ridiculous. And also, then the issues of bias, because one of the worst things is that if you train AI on data where people have been biased, where people have been racist, where it's going to literally take that thing and become racist itself. It's going to become biased itself. And this is a very important issue that we need to overcome. So one of the key takeaways, I left it as a quote, so you can take photos and tag it and all the stuff, is that the future, where does the future of AI lie? So basically the future of AI lies not just in data processing, not in just mere number crunching, but in uplifting and helping human potential. How we're going to make people work better, how are they going to be more efficient, and how are we going to empower people to use AI to achieve their objectives. And this is what hybrid intelligence is doing. It's uniting human intuition with AI's power. It is getting a foundation of trust and transparency so that we build a future in which AI and people collaborate together to achieve their goals. Thank you very much. I'm basically exactly on time. You can also have a look at that QR code for more information. And thanks, and enjoy AIBC.